Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Eric. So I want to talk to you real quick before we get started into the video, because what I had to do is I was wrestling big time about what I was going to share today, because I wanted to get into this is the first of the Night's Watchman footage. I want to first make a correction on the date. I was saying it was Wednesday into Thursday, where I was up until 2 a.m. recording, going into Thursday morning. After 2 a.m. actually, and then I looked at the footage and analyzed that day's footage, not even the footage that I recorded until 5 a.m. That was actually on Friday that I did all of those first recordings, and then on Saturday I recorded until 2 a.m. and stayed up until 5 a.m. analyzing the footage that I captured just that day, which was Sunday morning. I get these dates mixed up all the time, guys. I apologize sincerely. I hate it when I make these stupid errors in my dates, because what happens is these days roll together, especially with all we got going on here at my whole household, which I don't like to keep bringing up, but between that and everything that's going on in the world, including my son and everything else, okay, so the days roll together, so it's easy for me to make mistakes, but I always try to make the corrections, especially when I catch myself. So not that it really matters, guys. So it was Saturday into Sunday that I captured all that footage, but none of it is what we're going to look at today. What we're going to look at is what I did on Friday, the very first day that I worked on the Nikon P900. Now I still have my other cam, which is a great cam. It's 24 megapixels. It's for a low zoom capacity at 14.3, but it's an excellent camera. And it also has, it's an AI cam, so it's able to pick up with these lenses that it has that other cameras can't pick up. So I went out the other night, right? I was actually in my Crocs and everything. I had to be out there for about 20 minutes to a half hour, and I started recording, and I was just looking around. I was looking in the back trees, those big tall trees where everything super crazy is happening all the time, including footage that I have now. Not in this video, guys, not in this video, but it's coming soon. That's what I was wrestling with. I'm getting there, okay? Please bear with me. Last night I was out, and I say we, Father, God, and I was feeling led to go to the backyard. I wasn't on the hunt. I wasn't looking for anything, but I was looking in my viewfinder. That's what I do, is that look in the viewfinder to see for any anomalies. Well, what had happened was I didn't even see this in the viewfinder, even though that's what I was using to look, to walk and look. If you saw the video, Little Creatures, what's it called? They're here, Little Creatures, The Time is at Hand, something like that. The Great Apocalypse, I can't remember. But it had to do with those little creatures that are like fae, fairy, gnome, dwarves. I call them gremlins. Okay, there was like 5 of them at least. 5 of them that manifested from the trees. One shot all the way down from the tree and then came across the yard and then started to attack me. Literally, I have it all on film. Okay, and then I was watching my viewfinder, and there was light pulses just booming all over the place, and you'll be able to hear it in the audio from the video that I played. Okay, that I'll be playing for you guys. Not in this video, but I'll get it out to you real soon. You'll be able to hear the audio. I'll include it with the video so that you hear me saying, wow, we're getting pegged here. We're getting hit hard, because my viewfinder was just lighting up. So then I start to turn, and then you see the directed energy beams, just like it looked like I was in Star Wars. Just boom, boom, boom. And every time I'd get hit, because all glory God, he protects me. The same God that stopped the lion's mouth from chewing up Daniel is the same God that is protecting me from these weapons that they devise against me. That's the same God that's protecting me. Every time they would shoot these directed energy beams at me, my entire screen would go white. It's like a force field. I've shown this in previous vids. One of them in particular was at the end of the Project Bluebeam in full effect video, and then the following day I did V2K, Omnipresence, Bluebeam, Project Bluebeam I think it was called, because it was like a follow-up because I had technical issues with the Project Bluebeam in full effect videos. So I did the V2K technology the next morning. I did that video. It's like 20 something minutes long, and then I go ahead and I show how they direct this frequency assault at you, and how I was being protected by the Spirit of God like a true force field was over me. Alright, so I've rambled on long enough. I wanted to let you know what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, from Boogeyman Productions, back when I did that video called Winged Creatures and Sun Simulators, the End of Days episode 2, excuse me. I did a compilation basically on the Sun Simulators, but then I did, what I showed was from Boogeyman Productions. He was capturing the same winged beings that I was capturing within the Earth atmosphere. He was capturing the same winged beings transiting across the moon. I think he captured between 6 and 8 of them. Between 6 and 8. And then he captured one little guy that was so close to the moon, it looked like he was literally flying right across the surface of it. Well, I captured the exact same thing, except 2 of them are super intense, because it was when the camera was way out of focus. It was focusing on a section of a tree branch, because the sun was the moon was rising up above the trees. And then just like within where the moon was rising, there was these thin layer of clouds going across. Okay, so you'll be able to see that. But what was happening was that the trees that were in front of that, there were these transits that come right across the out of focus moon. Okay, these transits were in between the Earth's atmosphere and the Earth itself within ether. Okay, this was not an insect by any means, because an insect or a bird or anything of that sort, when you're zoomed in at 80 to 85, 90% of your max zoom, then anything that flies across it would go so fast that all you would maybe see is a slight blur. If it was a bird that had wings flapping, you wouldn't even see one flap. You would just see it go by. If it was a bat, same thing. You would just see a blotch go by, because when you're zoomed in that tight, you don't have something that's going to be going slowly across, or even have a long transit across the entire frame. It's just not possible. Okay, so let's get into the video, guys, because we're going to look at not only the same footage that Boogeyman Productions captured, that I captured the first night I used my P900, but we're also going to look at those transits that are they are so obviously clear that they have an insectoid body. They have a tail hanging down just like a stingray. And we're going to compare that even to the footage from the Project Bluebeam in full effect video. So let's get started and have some fun. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Eric from the Ancient of Days. Today we are going to look at some footage. It's going to tie together specifically with the video I did. Let's see. Let's go to videos here on my channel. Please subscribe, guys, because we got a lot of work coming up. And as this week progresses, we're certainly going to start putting out these videos. Let's see how far this goes back. Winged Creatures and Sun Simulators, the End of Days episode 2. Okay, so we're going to pick up right where we left off there, because now that I have the P900, oh my gosh, I'm able to capture the things that we talked about in that video. So first we're going to take a look here. I want to at least listen to what this gentleman had to say here, because this was sort of a compilation with the sun simulators and the lunar simulators, and of course these winged creatures, who was caught by a channel on YouTube called Boogeyman Productions. The link in the box is here under winged creatures and sun simulators. First, let's go ahead and listen here to what this gentleman has to say, and then we're going to get into the footage that I have as well.
Well, did you realize that they said they went to the moon several times, in fact, but just recently they admitted that they've never been to the moon. But even Elon Musk has said they've opened a door, a portal, to a dimension that they cannot close. It's too late.
Not only Elon Musk, but also Dr. Jordy Rose had stated the same thing. He actually said that this is a rising tsunami in the background, that if we are not careful how we navigate this could wipe our entire species out. That was from Dr. Jordy Rose. Okay, let's listen.
They've allowed the AI demonic entities to take over, and they can't stop it. Those aren't my words. Those are his. AI is literally taking over, and it can't be stopped.
Now, here from Boogeyman Productions, let's listen to here also. This is with his P900. I'm going to show you the exact same anomalies that I captured, plus something a little more interesting as well.
If you watch them...
Okay, in case you guys aren't aware, what he's talking about here are these things here that are in between, we call it the ether, the atmosphere that's between the moon and the earth. He was capturing these things that he said looked like stingrays. They had like a flappy tail hanging down, and you're going to see the ones that I captured exactly what looks like a stingray. He nailed it with this one, and this goes back, let's see the date on this, that I did this, because October 12th, I think he put out this video only a few days before, and so he was back in 2020 of October. He was talking about these things that were transiting across the moon, and other channels have captured them now as well, including myself, with tails like stingrays. And I've actually captured them in, I think it's on the Project Bluebeam vid. Sure did, on the Project Bluebeam in full effect, AI Quantum Matrix, 59 minutes and 30 seconds. We captured this creature here. As we darken it up, you can see the flappy tail hanging down right there. With one wing up, it goes down. And because you have both wings up, there's the other one. And that's the big flappy body, the big fat body with the drapey tail. Okay? So we've been capturing these things for a while. Yeah, let's continue to watch
closely, and I've slowed them down and I've zoomed them in. You're going to agree, I believe. I really do. I truly do. The contrast, the colors, it is very easy to spot these transits, okay? Now, like I said, a lot of them look like birds, even though from a photography standpoint, these birds, quote unquote, are...
First off, I'll say they don't look like birds to me at all, because when you are zoomed in this tight, you're zoomed in this tight to the moon, you would never see the flapping of a bird's wings, because it would go by the frame so fast, it would pass by the lens so quickly, all you would see is a black spot just go across. That's why it's impossible for that statement to even be true, because you would never see flapping wings if this was a bird that was in between the atmosphere of the earth and the moon that we call the ether. Let's continue to listen.
In focus with the moon itself. All I know is when I watch these beings cross the moon, transit the moon,
they look like more like stingrays.
They look like they're sort of flowing, if you will.
Oh, and on the footage that I captured, you're going to see that they exactly. Let's continue to listen.
Flowing with their wings, right? And their tails hanging out. My 2x telephoto converter gets too close, if that's possible. It gets too close, and it gets too personal, and it makes it hard to see. Well, they're amazing to look at. They're amazing to, gather, but really hard to swallow. Look at this little guy right here. Now, this is one of them that I'm sure that is too small to pick up from Earth, right? Doesn't matter.
This little guy right here is the same exact, one of them, one of the three that I captured. One of them is exactly identical to this one right here. Let's continue to watch.
Day or night, too small to pick up from Earth. He is definitely on the moon, all right? I mean, just look at it. It almost looks like it's flapping, but it almost looks like it's aquatic. A lot like a stingray.
All right. So right here we're going to start to look at, guys, this is that little tiny transit that's going to cross the sky, but please don't get bored yet because we have some really cool freaky stuff that actually sent shivers right down my entire spine, hitting all the chakras. It was incredible when I saw these through the lens, because the moon itself that I was trying to record was highly distorted, and these two transits that were I saw through the viewfinder were actually a lot more in focus than the moon. However, they were highly blurry, and I could even tell in the viewfinder that they were much further out than even the trees, that my camera was sort of picking up the bottom of the trees, because the moon was just rising above the trees. So enough yapping, and let's start looking at what we captured, okay? The first ones here that we're going to look at are going to be of the this is going to be that one transit that crosses the moon. Now this is clearly, like Boogeyman Productions said, that is way too tiny. Right there. That is way too tiny to be picked up as a bird in any way, shape, or form. Right here is on my max zoom. I'm maxed out, okay? You can see this thing is, to me, it looks like it's flapping wings. Here I enlarged it a little bit, okay, to increase the scale. Okay, this is maxed out on the P900 right here, okay? What you're looking at is maxed out. Alright, so I'm sure you guys are like, yeah, that's pretty cool. You got some winged thing flying across the moon, right? Well, I'm the winged creature guy for one thing, but yeah, that is pretty wild. That is pretty interesting, because that's way too small to be a bird or anything of that sort. It does look sort of be flowing through the ether, if you will, rather than just flapping wings. It almost appears to be doing both. And you're going to see here in these next two transits, because I'm going to show you here some comparisons as to where the moon was rising above the trees. Now, I had my Nikon P900 almost maxed out. I would say, 95 to 98% max zoom to look at the moon that night, but I was learning how to focus. So let's look and listen to how all this worked out, and it'll make more sense when you see these really, really interesting transits. Now this is one of the two transits, one of the most interesting actually. You could clearly see that it's way behind the branches, which are at the max zoom of the Nikon P900. And what's behind that, what's behind the insectoid, is actually the moon itself rising above the branches, which I'm going to explain right here. I did this today for you guys to show you what I was talking about. Let's listen. Okay, it's focusing on the leaves and the trees. Alright. But really, that is very far away. I'm all the way back at my house now, okay? I'm standing in my driveway. Okay? So that's why There's no possible way that those things that were flying by were as big as, you know, an axe or a baseball bat, like a Major League Baseball bat, because it was rising up above those tree lines there. That's why the leaves looked so big. It's not like I was right in front of a tree. It's just that it was rising up between that crevice there, and I was getting a good view of the moon rising up, and there were some clouds above it. So unless those insectoids that were flying by in the very beginning of the video were about 2 meters long, then there's no way in the world that the camera would capture them at that size. This is the moon. The background is the moon. These are the branches that are at the max zoom of the camera. Let's watch this travel across, and you will clearly see that this is nowhere near the branches. This is actually huge. It's actually a very large ethereal being. And then when we hit pause right here, we can just take a look at the details. They're absolutely staggering. Okay, this is an insectoid looking creature, an ethereal being that has either a really long leg or a tail. I don't know. Let's continue to hit play and see what happens. Now as we bring it in, it looks to be a winged being. I mean, guys, you can't deny that if this is the moon right here, look at how far behind the tree branches that the moon is. Alright, and then you have this guy right here with wings, what looks to kind of be like a stingray tail. Just like Boogeyman Productions had said. My gosh, you talk about him hitting it right on the head back then. He said it looks like a stingray. I also agreed. It certainly does look like a stingray. Absolutely incredible. Let's continue to watch. Okay, here it is again. As it traveled from all the way up here and then down, all I did is change the color scales. The moon is still the background because I'm nearly maxed out on my camera. These are still the branches, and this is that insectoid looking being, ethereal being that was transiting across the moon. And that got picked up with the camera. Okay? Now, here's the deal, guys. Look. There's no possible way that an insect, where I'm nearly maxed out on my Nikon P900, that's 83 zoom capacity. There's no way that I would pick up a bug. Okay? A bug. An insect that just travels across the moon. You actually see like legs or wings or whatever parts to this insectoid. You would never in a million years, okay? Yeah, it's a sweet cam, but there's no way in the world that it would focus in on an insect, guys. Come on. Nobody's going to convince me of that. No way, no how, ever. This is an ethereal being that manifested, that was able to be captured. Okay, now look at this one here. Beautiful image. Oh my gosh. Look at how crazy this thing looks. This is the same thing that was flying across, which is still the moon in the background. Look at how close the tree branches are. This here is clearly further back. No doubt about it. Let's see what happens. Now watch it go. Look at it go. Do you think that any camera whatsoever, okay, look at it's behind the branches. There's no question about it. Look at it's behind the branches. Let's go back. We're going in reverse now, okay? Just look at this. Your eyes shouldn't fool you in this, okay? It's clearly behind the branches. Okay? And then when we hit forward, look at it. It's still behind the branches. But what it's doing is it transit across the entire moon that I wasn't focusing in on because I literally just turned the camera on. And I captured this. Absolutely amazing. Look at it. It's way behind. Let's back that up. That is nowhere near the branches. And look at the details. Oh my gosh. That is a one heck of ethereal being. I've never seen anything like it, to be honest, guys. So this was an amazing capture. It looks like it has dangly legs. It's like it keeps changing shapes and whatnot. I don't know if it's shape-shifting or it's just the way the camera picked it up or what. But that is truly incredible. And you could tell that is nowhere near the branches whatsoever. And what I find to be truly incredible is how it changes shape as it... Look at right there. It's a winged being that has... Just like a stingray. Just like Boogeyman Productions said. I mean, he really hit the nail on the head. Look at it. See how much faster it goes? And let's have one more look at this thing here as it just shoots across. Look at this little guy. Look at that little guy. Okay? He's actually like damn close to the moon's surface. Or like within the moon's so-called atmosphere, if you will. I don't even know what to say about it. I appreciate you guys watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed the video. I was wrestling as to whether I was going to include last night's footage as well, which was unbelievable, captured with my other camera, my 5G 24 megapixel camera that I captured just last night. I wanted to include that, but it was going to require way too much editing, and I wanted to at least get this video out for tonight, which will likely be out tomorrow, which is Wednesday, but that way I can then focus on the upcoming topics in the days and weeks ahead, and then as we carry on with the Night's Watch and more is revealed, we are going to just really unleash some wonderful revelations as led by the Spirit. So guys, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Much love from my family to yours. Take care and God bless. I'll see you soon.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day.